Well, the benefits to a couple of male counsellors is that quite often we get women who make the referrals, who self-refer, and they ask for a male. I think there's probably a sense that men might find it perhaps more difficult, that they may find it more uncomfortable to start this work. And so something that gives them an opportunity to be heard better, to be listened to in a way that they might feel safer, more secure, is often the reason given. We also get situations where men themselves refer themselves, and they too also ask for a male. And I think it is that sort of journey. It's not always the case. It's not always the case that a man feels that it needs to be a man. But you do get that request. This would be probably the first time that a man goes to counselling. Most of the people we see are first occasions they go to. And so they want to know what they're getting into. They want to know that this is going to be a place that they're going to feel heard and understood and valued, and that maybe a man could offer them that. There's more opportunity to a man offering them that, quicker, better. And that, I think that's the reason given, really. My story is quite protracted. I started with an interest in child protection and wanting to work with children. But what interested me more and more was the psychotherapeutic aspect of that work. In child protection, there's a range of things you do, very practical things, making sure the child is safe. But the counselling bit, the bit that actually where you're working with families to think together how they organise themselves around the care of the child, and that's what interested me more. And so I took what was then called a family therapy training. It's now changed to mean to broaden the description of what that is. It's called systemic psychotherapy now, and what it means is that you work with the here and now. You work with the situation as it is, and you work with people's understanding, that the understanding they give to their situation. So it really doesn't matter if it's a family or individual or couple or whatever. It's about helping people work with their own explanation that they give to themselves of the situation, and how they might want to change that, how they might want to make it something that causes them less discomfort. So going back to your question about men, it's about how they might come into the work so they can feel that the relationship they have with their partner or with themselves is a more comfortable one, that they don't have quite so much distress or inability perhaps to manage or cope certain things. And with men, often it's to do with work, it's to do with performance. I think men in families bring ideas about performing and protecting, generally speaking, not all, and so that they care and worry about that. They worry if they're not doing something that's sufficiently good enough about protecting the family or providing for the family, and all the consequences of that. So you have to work with that, and that can be anything from how you retain your job to how they spend their time with their kids, really, their children, and how they get on with their partner and the sharing of the care of the children. So it's a wide range of things. I think it's shifting, but I think it's still quite a dominant story that men have inherited from their families. It tends to be, once we get, going back to what I was saying about systemic thinking, it's if you get into, how come you've got to where you are now? Why do you think as you think now? Very often you find that there are stories in the family, the way that they're brought up. The little boys should do this and little girls should do that. And little men should do this and little women should do that. So those stories become dominant in their thinking. And it can be quite powerful when things don't work as well. Of course now, with some women reaching more advantageous status in the field of work, then you can get a lot more partnerships where there's an equity, there's a real equity of income, equity of status, equity of performance. So it becomes reconciling that with the story they've been brought up with can sometimes be difficult. Well, I think it's people put trust in you. You have to earn it, but they do put trust in you. They put something very important in their lives in your hands a bit. It's only for an hour a week, but and they give you a chance to make changes in a way that they've tried so hard to make. You know, they don't come without having made attempts. They've made lots. Most people we see made a lot of good attempts. It's just that they don't quite work well enough. So we just have to tweak it a bit. We have to fiddle with it and get it right. You know, but they do put trust in you, and they continue to see you, and that's very rewarding. It's very rewarding when people, you know, share such important things about themselves with you and allow you to help them perceive something different that is good for them.